Welcome everyone to Game 3 in a best of 3 series between MYM's Cloud versus Fnatic's MSI's KawaiiRice. Game 3 taking place here on the TSL version of Metalopolis. KawaiiRice spawning as the yellow Terran player at the 3 o'clock position. Meanwhile, over here Cloud spawning at the 12 o'clock position as the red Terran. So this is a Terran versus Terran matchup once again. Would be rather surprised if I heard if they change any of their races. And yes, that is my daughter if you hear her in the background. Father first, shoutcaster second. So this is a mirror match and we'll see how these players try to play this game. We are on a relatively close air spawns, so we may have some Banshee play, or some drop play. And because of the way Metalopolis is set up, there could be a lot of missile turrets set up along this side here or this side here, and then it will end up turning into a very large macro game. There's only two major routes to get in and out of your opponent's side of the map. This one pathway here, and also this one pathway here. Both players will be able to expand away from their opponent, rather well protected, and we'll see what exactly happens in this matchup, as I do not see a barracks coming in from Cloud yet. So that is a bit of a surprise. If he goes for a very fast expansion, that would be one of the strangest maneuvers I've seen on Metalopolis in quite some time, as we could already see an early scouting SCV in just a moment. Back over here, KawaiiRice does not look to be getting up a refinery at all. He does not get up a refinery at all, as we are now getting, is it going to be, yes, it is going to actually be a 14 command center here. And wow, a very strong economic opening for Cloud, trying to sacrifice his early Marines and perhaps being able to win in that long economic game this way. Meanwhile, back over here, we are not getting any refineries down here. So KawaiiRice may be opening up with a fast command center of his own, just a little bit behind, as we are now finally getting a barracks down into play. An SCV of KawaiiRice will be slowly making the trek over, and in just a few seconds we'll see that it is a very early command center. He has about a 50 or 45 second lead building that command center over his opponent, and we still do not have an orbital command here, as a supply depot now finally being built. Yes, and KawaiiRice does see the command center being built on the low ground. A double command center being built in here instead, as KawaiiRice wants to try to punish his opponent with as many Marines as possible. You can see the Marine now coming down over here. One Marine will be able to pop out in just a moment, and he does see the second raft coming into play and that command center. He's seen everything that he needs to see and now trying to get away, but unable to do so, as a quick Marine able to get off that final shot. SCV now deciding to come back. We are also getting a bunker onto the low ground, a Marine trying to be trained up in time. And I think these Marines may try to make the very long walk in just a moment. We are going into a 4 racks build. Second command center about to be completed, as well as this is nearly done. And back over here, we already have the mining underway, and it looks like Cloud, who did a very interesting and risky gambit here on Metalopolis, may be able to come out ahead in just a moment, as the Marines are now finally funneling into that bunker there. So bunker is in place, 2 Marines inside, training up more and more Marines, going into a 3 racks build already compared to the 4 racks build of KawaiiRice, upgrading to another orbital command. KawaiiRice doesn't have that many SCVs, currently sitting at 18. Meanwhile, Cloud sitting at 20, and he is also double training SCVs, so that will definitely help him out in the long run, as more and more SCVs are still filing out, and this is going to be a very large Marine battle, as you see SCVs and Marines now making their way out. One bunker is in play, and this is going to be very interesting. Is the Marines, yes, the Marines are actually going to be able to sneak by there, and this is going to be interesting as the Marines now trying to battle it out. Both sides battling out. Some SCVs are getting pulled off, as the Marines now coming and getting a lot of damage here. One Marine down over here as well, and enough damage has been dealt for a couple Marines there, and down goes another one. And Cloud keeping the economic advantage, as these Marines are now trying to run back, pulling off those SCVs, trying to win the game early, trying to punish his opponent. But KawaiiRice was unsuccessful, as Cloud was more than ready to handle all of those units there. We do have 5 or 6 racks now being built, so half a dozen barracks is already training up. We are going into that double gas play. We may get 2 additional refineries down over here as well. Production wise, we are now transitioning into the mid game, as more barracks are still being placed down, and only Marines coming out from both sides. More Marines are still being trained up as well. Production wise, it looks like Cloud has finally caught up and perhaps even surpassed KawaiiRice at this time in terms of pure marine production. There is one bunker that is empty. And now the Marines are now trying to come back over, and this is a lot of Marines to battle another group of Marines here, and another group of Marines now making their way out. The lower hit point Marines are being placed inside here, so one more Marine will jump inside as the Marines are just trying to funnel back once more. Army-wise, 1,000 versus 850, 33 SCVs compared to 24, as we are now getting into supply lock here. Both players need to get in more supply depots. It looks like, yes, Cloud now building in 3 supply depots, and he should trying to be adding add-ons at this time and this stage in the game, just because he is currently supply locked. Now sitting at 62, and now training up more Marines once again. Stim pack and combat shield now being researched as the Marines now funnel in. One Marine down over here, and this is going to be a little bit of an issue as the Marines now battling it out in a group of Marines versus another group of Marines. Both sides just trying to exchange blows. KawaiiRice does not have stim pack as the Marines are quickly getting falling behind. Not quite sure. Does he have stim pack? No, he does not have stim pack, but those Marines somehow able to get more and more damage, and now Cloud is behind, but with the help of that one bunker, the bunker giving an additional range on those Marines, also 1 armor before those Marines are taken back, and both sides are just still in full retreat once again. A factory finally coming into play. Meanwhile, double factories coming in from Cloud, so Hellions may be coming in the future as Cloud makes his way off with this 1 Rax there. You can see the double factories in play here, and they are going to be most likely training up Hellions. We may even get that blue flame research as the stim pack and the combat shield about to be completed. Also, level 1 weapons upgrade on the Terran infantry. And yes, this is once again a very large mass Marine play. Marines now getting some shots into the back of that barracks. The barracks down to already 500 hit points most likely. Yeah, there you go. 500, 400, 326, 200. And the barracks, unless it gets repaired by some SCVs, will get taken down in just a moment. Already down to 93 hit points there. We already see a tech lab. And are we going to get a double tech lab as this one barracks still burning very, very slowly. It doesn't look like it will get repaired in time. Not even sure why Cloud decided to bring back the barracks if he's not going to bother repairing it, and it will just burn rather quickly and then into oblivion. Large group of Marines, once again, just a massive army of Marines once more. 49 SCVs versus 39 SCVs, so a significant economic advantage by Cloud, but he hasn't really translated that into anything else. A command center being built once more, so we are going to have a 3rd base in just a second, as we are now going to be adding medevacs from KawaiiRice. The reactor is already up, and now an SCV being forced to pull away. Scanner sweep, Marines now trying to battle it out. SCVs in the front line, both sides battling it out, and now Cloud, who does have combat shield and Marines, another siege tank over here trying to absorb as much damage as possible, but I do not think KawaiiRice is actually going to be successful here, as there are still a couple Marines left. The siege tank does have a natural base 1 armor, and those Marines are not going to be able to do anything. A new bunker should be placed down, and a siege tank in siege mode, 2 of them, should be more than enough to deter any of these units from once again re-engaging. Army-wise, 1,000 minerals, 250 gas versus 850, but some SCVs were exchanged in that blow, as Cloud could be upgrading to an orbital command once more. Yeah, upgrading to another orbital command there. You can see that 3rd base is being built. KawaiiRice did see that command center being built as a starport finally being added. Marines now making sure that nothing is over here. Going to just simply stand guard. 2 siege tanks, 3 siege tanks. One of them a little bit low on health, but not too bad, as those siege tanks are going to be able to just get in a lot of splash damage onto those Marines before anything really happens. Medevacs now moving in as well, so double medevacs may try an elevator drop onto this high ground position here, and that would work out very, very well. Siege tanks very powerful, but extremely stationary, as now you can see what the Marines now dropping off onto the high ground. The Cloud does not see what's happening over here on the corner of his base. Finally sees a Marine, and now in comes a stim going after those quick very, very critical tech labs and reactors. Marines now trying to come over as well, as both sides are battling it out here. Siege tank now trying to make their way up, and it looks like enough damage is being dealt. The Marines being forced to pull back here, and now perhaps we will have a siege tank and a couple Marines being left to guard that location. Still a good number of siege tanks here, as SCVs and mules are continuing to mine away. Cloud trying to keep his economic advantage, but only able to do so with mules, as KawaiiRice also establishing a third base as well. I'm surprised that no one's really captured these, or KawaiiRice has been able to hold these Xel'Naga watchtowers without any real issue, as a medevac coming along the far side here. So that medevac perhaps going to be able to get a drop in, and dropping in the dark area. No, not going to drop in the dark area at all. Simply dropping Marines straight in. And now also moving out with a group of Marines here. So it's going to be a two-prong attack. We are getting a sensor tower up. The sensor tower built in time to see a large group of Marines. Orbital command now taken down. And KawaiiRice very, very successful with that block there. A couple Marines down over here were destroyed as well. But it looks like the worker count and worker kills, 28 worker kills compared to 17. And now we are finally seeing KawaiiRice getting a very strong economic damage, or economic advantage at this stage, as this command center is now done and should be upgrading to an orbital command. We are still 15 minutes into this game already. Marines in play. They are now going to be upgraded 1-0 in just a moment. Cloud's already upgraded 1-1. So Cloud should perhaps try to move out and deal some damage. We are getting some medevacs as well. We have, 3 factories in play. Siege tanks are sporadically placed out as well, and a group of Marines left behind in addition, as these Marines are trying to win this battle by themselves. Marines, medevacs, and siege tanks. I don't see any Vikings, as the level 1 weapons upgrade about to be completed, and now also going into 3 factory play. KawaiiRice doesn't have the reactors, so he does not have to worry about add-ons being picked off, but perhaps he should try to keep up with his production. I do not see anything being trained out of these barracks right now. Adding a tech lab or adding a reactor would help him prevent having to build any additional barracks, as we are now going into a 3 factory play, 1 starport play. And now a drop coming in, but the drop is going to get intercepted or spotted by the sensor tower in time. And now you can see that the medevac is just holding that position there, as a Marine quickly sees the center of the map, quickly coming in. And now you can see, the medevacs, there is one full medevac there, as we are not going to have a tank war in the center portion of the map here. Cloud does not see the group of, or sees a group of Marines there, knows that he cannot engage, and now going to perhaps regroup with the rest of his army, as we already have KawaiiRice with a significant economic advantage, 72 over 60 unit-wise. Also doesn't have any mules, but the addition of those 8 mineral patches really helping out. Marines now battling out. These Marines, however, accidentally getting grouped in together with these Marines as well, trying to run around, trying to battle out. Another missile turret will get taken down. Down it goes, as KawaiiRice is going to be in a bit of trouble. The Marines are upgraded 1-0, and now SCV after SCV has been taken down, going after those supply depots. All of these buildings will get destroyed, as where is the army? Army finally making their way over. 1 refinery, 2 refinery already down. KawaiiRice now supply locked, as the Marines are trying to battle it out. Siege tanks now coming in, as the Marines need to perhaps stim in and actually get some damage onto those other buildings there. The Marines now trying to get some damage on the SCVs, but no go. A couple supply depots are going to continue to burn. No, an SCV is going to come over to repair, as another SCV builds a refinery. A little bit of damage dealt, not much, as the medevac was never really nearby and able to heal up the rest of that army there. KawaiiRice may try to do a counterattack of Marines of his own. There are 2 siege tanks on the low ground, 1 siege tank up on the high ground. They're just out of combat range. You can see both sides, as this medevac looking to come in. A missile turret already in play. Marines are going to come in as well, and the Marines now trying to come in, trying to get some damage over here. A siege tank perhaps should try to siege up. Down goes one of those missile turrets there, as the Marines looking to deal some damage, but unable to do so. And it was more of a standoff there, besides any real damage being dealt. 2-1 upgrades now underway. 3-1 upgrades now underway, in addition to the 1-0 upgrades on Cloud's units. Cloud does have a slight upgrade advantage, but that is about it. Siege tanks now going to perhaps simply blast away at the Marines that are coming into this position here. Not going to work out at all. Losing a couple of siege tanks there, as these siege tanks just holding on to that position, and now trying to establish a different Xel'Naga watchtower instead. Cloud making his way out with this army tactical force, and with the split armies, we'll see how much damage he is really able to do. There is a sensor tower over here, so it is going to be able to spot the Marines and the siege tanks. And what is going to be happening? Cloud needs to siege up. Marines now coming in over here as well, and both sides trying to break the siege lines. Marines now coming in from the back as well. tanks and are going to finally be sieging up over here, but Cloud getting in some damage. There are a lot of siege tanks, and now Medevac also dropping in Marines straight into this line over here. It looks like there's going to be enough siege tanks to break this line. And no, some damage finally being dealt. Siege tanks of Cloud not close enough at all, as these siege tanks are now holding onto that position. Cloud with only one tank here, and now Cloud looking to perhaps deal a bit of counter damage with a mass group of Marines coming into this position here. The SCVs need to be very careful, as the siege tanks are going to be sieging up in just a moment. The Marines are not going to be able to get close by at all, as the Marines are now getting damage onto perhaps some of these additional buildings as well, being very careful to go after everything outside the range of that planetary fortress. You can see finally a group of Marines and tanks coming in. The planetary fortress already down to 500 hit points, now being mass repaired. SCVs coming off the mineral line, soaking up a lot of that damage there, and now finally the Marines pulling over, but the SCVs quickly getting a nice surround and now able to save that planetary fortress. So tank wars here, as KawaiiRice has a significant army advantage, 4,200 versus 3,000, a total resource bonus of about, 2,400 now, as it continues to grow and grow. Production-wise, siege tanks are trying to make their way in. That siege tank has been destroyed. The siege tanks of KawaiiRice are still only upgraded 1-0 at this point. 0-0 at this point. No upgrades at all, as the tanks are now making their way out. I'm surprised that we don't see Marauders. Marauders are the real true counter to those siege tanks, as long as you have superior numbers and are able to stim in with them. Marines now trying to push in once more, and now the Medevacs and the Marines getting healed back. And once again, let's see what's going to be happening. We have a decent number of Marines here. The siege tanks of KawaiiRice doesn't see what's going on. A quick scanner sweep. Cloud now trying to push his way in. He does see siege tanks here, and just going to purely try to siege up, and now able to get some damage and some shots onto those siege tanks there. And now down it goes. Both sides exchanging blows as the scanner sweep does reveal. And now a Medevac going to try to come in and do a drop, but I do not think that will be successful at all. Too many Marines on the low ground here. The Marines are upgraded 3-1, soon to be 3-2. The Marines of KawaiiRice still only upgraded 1-0. So even though his army is much larger, he is not going to get as much mileage per unit. So this is very interesting, in fact, as a couple of siege tanks now sieging up once more. The siege tanks are upgraded 38 damage. As the siege tanks back over here, Cloud now trying to come in. The siege tanks up on the high ground, and he accidentally split his army. Cloud with a very critical mistake at just the wrong moment, losing a lot more units than I believe he needed to. The siege tanks naturally trying to target whatever is closer, as Cloud now makes away with a very, very weak army. We are going to get some siege tanks battling out over here. Siege tanks, siege war now going on. The Marines are getting destroyed. Cloud unable to really see what's going on here, as the Marines now simply trying to stim in and get that final group of units down. There are no Marines up on the high ground, no tanks up on the high ground either, as you can finally see the counter push coming in. 2 siege tanks blasting away at some of those Marines, and those barracks are going to be in a bit of trouble, as now we are getting an elevator drop into position. Siege tanks on the low ground blasting away at the critical buildings here. A group of Marines trying to come in, unable to do so, and now I believe the Marines are going to simply stim in, get some damage, finish off these tanks. And the damage is being dealt, taking down some of the Medevacs as well. More Marines coming in to reinforce, and this is going to be a very dangerous game, as a couple, as 2 or 3 of those barracks have been destroyed. KawaiiRice now looking to perhaps do some more elevator dropping. No, absolutely no Vikings to be had, as KawaiiRice now takes an even significant economic lead, as he is able to mine from more mineral patches, as we still have Cloud oversaturating this high ground 10 o'clock expansion. Scanner sweep reveals pretty much what he needs to see. He knows that this is the only real mining location currently going on, and he sees the SCVs being transferred. That is absolutely huge. KawaiiRice does have a couple medevacs over here, as the siege tanks and Marines 1-0 trying to do another counter push again. Planetary Fortress being upgraded on the bottom side as well, as we are now sitting at 70 harvesters compared to 67. More Marines, or more SCVs being mining out over here. Almost full saturation, as these Marines and medevacs coming in, both sides battling it out, but the real sheer numbers of KawaiiRice overriding the upgrades of Cloud. So Cloud dealing, I believe, a full 9 damage per attack, while the KawaiiRice is only dealing 5 damage per attack. And that is going to be pretty significant there. Losses wise, you can see Cloud currently losing more units. Siege tanks perhaps going to try to siege up and then move straight up into here, and this is going to be an interesting exchange as the siege tanks are not yet sieged. Both sides battling it out. A lot of siege tanks. Scanner sweep revealing up onto the high ground. Siege tanks both sides exchanging blows, and now both have anything within that common orange or yellow area has been destroyed. But out come the Vikings. Vikings looking to get some damage onto Medivacs instead, and the Vikings are going to be able to shoot down one, perhaps two of those Medivac Marines now trying to stim in as well, and down goes that last Medivac there. So this has been a very, very bad exchange of blows. The Vikings getting plenty of site information and now trying to shoot down more and more of those Medivacs, and those Vikings are exactly what Cloud needed to get back into this game. Harvester count, he is slightly ahead income-wise. Now he is ahead as these mineral patches are starting to fade, as another expansion being placed on over here. Somehow KawaiiRice missed that one as two Marines quickly come in, finish off that Marine there, and both sides are continuing to battle it out. You can see another siege tank has been destroyed, a scanner sweep wasted in that exchange. Level 2 weapons upgrade and now level 1 armor upgrades finally coming in for KawaiiRice, and KawaiiRice needs to be very careful. Cloud has the superior upgraded forces as the siege tanks are slowly pushing in once more, and more tanks are going to get destroyed. It looks like Marines are getting destroyed, and another round of tanks just absolutely destroyed in this battle so far. More Marines now coming in as a large group of Marines and Medivacs coming in along the far side there. The siege tanks need the siege. Are they going to siege in time? Marines now quickly coming in, going to go after one siege tank, two siege tanks now destroyed, three siege tanks destroyed. Marines pulling back, but an elevator drop already in position here, and this is going to be a problem as 8-9 Marines simply uncountered and unopposed. Marines now finally coming back, able to shoot down the Medivac there, and these Marines are going to have tank support right behind them. Army-wise, 3550 versus 5150. Both sides are able to deal a lot of damage at both sides, with siege tanks getting in more and more damage as well as these Marines are offering plenty of support. There are no Medivacs nearby here, but we'll see what's going to be happening. Perhaps some siege tanks need to be positioned in this location here. Oh, a group of Marines just absolutely destroyed, walked over just a little bit too quickly. Production-wise, 6 Marines, 3 siege tanks being trained up. Meanwhile, KawaiiRice getting a fresh influx of tanks and Marines as well, as every mineral patch except the center mineral patches are currently have a command center at them. Command center now upgrading to an orbital command here. We are not getting any upgrades here as a planetary fortress is down over here as well. This command center looking to perhaps establish the yellow golden mineral patches in just a moment, as that will be the last set of mineral patches on the south side of the map. Marines now quickly coming in for another drop. Siege tanks now making their way out. There is a group of Marines, but that is it. No siege tank up on the high ground, and that is a bit of a surprise. One siege tank here would both cover the low ground and the high ground, get some damage onto those Marines, and really protect it and protect this high ground. Very important expansion, as every expansion and every mineral needs to be absolutely perfect. KawaiiRice sitting on, or elevator dropping 2 siege tanks up as well. The Marines now coming in as well, and the Marines just getting in a lot of damage already, finishing off these Marines and now going after SCVs. The Marines now shooting, simply taking down more and more of those units, and now in come the siege tanks. Siege tanks need to perhaps siege up along into this position, otherwise it's going to be a very, very bad exchange of blows. Oh, the Marines now trying to come in as well, getting destroyed on both sides, and now the Marines going to perhaps finish off the last of those siege tanks. There it goes, down it goes, and now siege tanks sieging up, and that is a large group of siege tanks. Nothing will be able to make it up this path anytime soon. Perhaps some Medivac or some Banshees could start to be added to this army. As you can see, these siege tanks are still not upgraded at all. Level 2 vehicle upgrades coming in as well. So that means, I believe it's 41 damage per round of attack on those siege tanks, especially without any upgrades. And oh, this siege tank is not long for life. You can see how quickly it gets destroyed there. A couple Marines also getting destroyed, but both sides now in this no man's land between all of these tanks, as these tanks perhaps try to find the proper positioning once again. These tanks over here, this is the siege line here, as another battle happening over here. Marines just trying to stop this aggression. Now siege tanks will be sieging up, and oh, a quick siege tank getting destroyed, and now in comes some Marines and just trying to drop in here, but the Marines quickly getting decimated once again. But there were enough siege tanks on the low ground to destroy the last of these here. A new group of Marines and tanks on the move, 2-2 upgraded. we are getting the 3 level 2 weapons upgrade and level 3 armor upgrades for the infantry of Cloud. Army-wise, 3,300 versus 6,000. Still, but KawaiiRice perhaps should be expanding into the center portion of this map now and just trying to mine away with mules. He is sitting at 200 over 200, so getting a large bank of minerals and gas would make a lot of sense, as he will be able to replenish his forces rather quickly. Siege tanks and marines making the trek across the map. These siege tanks and marines now upgraded 3-2 as well, as we are now, I believe, getting the 3-3 upgrades. Vikings now coming in, getting some rounds of attack onto the medevacs. Siege tanks and marines battling out over here. Siege tanks battling and just sieging up, but I believe KawaiiRice does have just superior numbers in this engagement, and that is what you need if you are behind in, if you are behind in research. You just need to be superior in something else, and numbers is the easiest way to do that, as we are now sitting at 181 versus 138. These scanner sweeps, most likely KawaiiRice scanning over here. No real reason for Cloud to scanner sweep his own units, as the mules are currently still mining away. No, all of these gases have been mined out completely. These mineral patches have been mined out as well. So both players really just running off a very skeleton crew of gas at this stage, or sorry, minerals at this stage. Gas still coming in very, very quickly for KawaiiRice. That's the reason why he has more tanks at this time. 10 versus 13, even though he's been losing a lot of tanks as well. SCVs, Marines upgraded, almost upgraded to 3-3, as we are now getting the level 3 weapons upgrade. And now a drop perhaps trying to come in as well. Siege tanks are going to siege up, and both sides looking to deal the devastating blow already. Siege tanks need to move in over here as well. One siege tank just in that forward position, just able to get some early damage on any units. We are now having this orbital command at the gold mineral patches, and most likely mules will be called in just a moment. It looks like a drop now coming in as well, and this is going to be hitting the main production buildings. A lot of those siege tanks out of position. No medevacs in this group, and this is going to really hurt, as Cloud is not going to have any more marines trained up. We now see an in-group of marines in, and the marines now trying to use that stim pack. Both sides fighting it out, and with a small group of medevacs there, the medevacs able to repair and heal up, as KawaiiRice now getting back into this game. But the siege tanks and marines now trying to battle it out here. These siege tanks are going to turn around, but a very nice hot pickup, ensuring that all of these marines are not lost, as the medevacs now once again in full retreat there. The marines and medevacs, both sides still trying to fight it through. Marines now down here on the low ground. KawaiiRice over here finally getting in even more gas, as a sensor tower is still in position, able to detect any true drops. So 3 circles placed across the map. 1 sensor tower here probably isn't needed any longer. Now, you take a look at the bases right now, and if you ever deal damage to the bases and the production, that is perhaps the easiest way to take out your opponent. As we are now going into 38 game minutes so far throughout this matchup. Siege tanks on the low ground, and now for some reason KawaiiRice has this mineral pad, or this one orbital command here, but is not mining away just quite yet. SCVs are not being transferred. Marines now battling it out. High ground advantage, but not enough, as KawaiiRice has superior numbers in this particular location. Siege tanks now trying to move in as well. Siege tanks will be sieging up and completely able to destroy up all the marines. So the marines are just getting decimated, as there are now a couple siege tanks left. A lot of medevacs in the air. No Vikings to hunt him down. And this is a very strange game so far, as one siege tank up on that high ground is not able to see any of those siege tanks, but these siege tanks now coming in and simply destroying this army here, and both sides exchanging armies rather quickly. These siege tanks perhaps are going to siege up. No, the Marines are going to be able to chase after those units. A lot of low hit point units there. Marines now turning around finally. Siege tanks are sieging, and both sides battling out. So just massive tank wars in the center portion of this map, as this battle rages on and on. I am still kind of confused as to why no SCVs are being mined off of this location. Finally, perhaps some SCVs being transferred there. He's been holding that mineral patch for so long, but not really doing anything with it. Command center also making the trek off to that center portion. A siege tank over here, I believe, was destroyed by that siege tank, and both sides are just battling it out and able to get in a lot of damage so far. SCVs were able to repair this orbital command here, as it was low on hit points, perhaps by another drop, and in comes another group of Marines. The Marines are upgraded 3-3, so both sides now fully upgraded. Cloud no longer having that upgrade advantage on his Marines, but he does have a slight upgrade advantage on his tanks, as we are now going into battle cruisers. So KawaiiRice opting to go into battle cruisers, but battle cruisers may not be the best choice at this time, and it looks like it's going to turn into a base race. Marines now quickly coming in, taking down this orbital command, but we see a large group of Marines and siege tanks coming in as well. These units are out of position. You have a smaller attacking force by Cloud, and Cloud now going after the main production buildings, and this is going to be a problem. Siege tanks able to blast away, getting a lot of damage, more Marines also coming in as well. The factories do not have any additional armor, as both sides just taking in and dealing so much damage. SCV is now once again in full retreat. No place really left to mine. It's a 4,600 mineral army versus 5,350, as siege tanks battling out over here. A lot of siege tanks over here as well, but the siege tanks continuing to just dish it out, and the main Marines have finished off all of these barracks over here as they are trying to train up more units, and they are simply getting destroyed. It looks like KawaiiRice had the superior force, but now going to get taken over once again, as KawaiiRice now comes in here, and KawaiiRice getting just so much damage on top of these units still. Marines battling out. MYM now coming back with all of these Marines and trying to fight back, and a lot of siege tanks in the main base here, as a fresh group of Marines and tanks now coming off and cleaning up some of these siege tanks here. The siege tanks are going to be able to blast up onto that high ground and clean up all of these tanks. KawaiiRice, those tanks were focusing on the Marines instead, and this is a problem definitely, as we have a 2,500 versus 1,225. Cloud doing a great job getting back into this game. I thought he was on the ropes for so long, but no, he looks like he is actually in a dominating force. His units are in a better position. There are a couple battle cruisers here, but without any of those upgrades, the thicker Terran plating armor, that 3 Terran armor, is not going to really absorb that much damage from those Marines. The Marines are actually able to stim, get in so much damage, trying to fight back even further, and you can see that one battle cruiser just is trying to fight back, unable to do so. And now the siege tanks, very nice positioning by KawaiiRice, as we are now getting some long distance mining as an orbital command being reestablished here. So we are going to have some more mining underway as the siege tanks are just slowly pushing their way forward. Battle cruisers are still being added to the army. The battle cruisers are going to be able to absorb a lot of that damage, but the main majority of KawaiiRice now is just all Marines. You can see a large number of barracks here. As soon as Cloud was able to take down all the factories here, that started to unravel all of his game plans, as now the battle cruisers quickly come in once more, and those battle cruisers getting a lot of damage onto those Marines now. So where are the Marines? The Marines too busy taking down refineries instead of focusing down the rest of those units there. You can see that the battle cruisers are moving. They do move slightly faster than a carrier now, the same speed as a Thor, as we are now finally getting our counter push, and now 3,700 coming in. Marines now just destroying each other over here. The medevacs should perhaps try to do a pickup. All of those medevacs just simply destroyed, as the siege tanks now going after the mules. The mules here, and now just getting destroyed as well. Down they go, those mules. And not much is going to be able to happen here, as this orbital command will get shot down. We have a 4,000 mineral army by KawaiiRice now, as those battle cruisers are just simply owning the sky. Mass Marines, no more true mining happening, not that much gas either, as both sides need to be very careful. KawaiiRice looking to try to finish off this battle. Fnatic currently Fnatic and Fnatic's KawaiiRice tied at 1-1 as this battle still rages on and on. Fnatic is winning in this clan war right now 2-1 in a 5-game set, but game 5 still will be played, as all the games need to be played in this clan war, as another Marine now taken down as well. So KawaiiRice, with these battle cruisers making the move out and trying to finish this off, Marines now making their way up that ramp, will be able to finish it off there. And now in comes some Banshees as well. Battle cruisers still getting a lot of damage in, and mass Marines finishing off the other Marines, and there's the GG finally. So Fnatic winning this one, and now taking a 3-1 lead into Game 5 of this series. Game 5 is going to be the 2v2 matchups. I hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and this best of 3 series. A very long battle here on Metalopolis. It looked like KawaiiRice had the advantage, was never able to really push it. Cloud at one point destroying a lot of the production buildings, but KawaiiRice luckily transitioning into battle cruisers, something you don't see very often often and was able to just use those battlecruisers to absorb a lot of that damage. Even at 0 Terran plating on those battlecruisers, has 3 armor. I believe one of the few units that can have up to 6 armor naturally, and then able to just clean up and soak up many of those shots from those Marines. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay and game 3 in this best of 3 series. Fnatic now leading 3-1.